ERASED is a good, yet a bad anime sometimes. I was watching some anime, and then I was reminded of ERASED. It's an anime that I have loved, but also hated the ending, and so I just want to talk about it. The plot can be confusing sometimes. We follow our main character, Satoru Fujinuma, that at the end of the first episode finds his mother murdered. This show follows murder mysteries, time travel, and stuff like that, because after his mum is murdered, he is sent back in time to when he was 10 years old to solve who is the killer, who killed his mother, and what's going on. The protagonist is a failed mangaka. He's a 29-year-old who has failed in his dreams of creating manga, so for now he works at a pizza store. Satoru is unique though. He has a power that can send him back in time between 1 to 5 minutes usually, and it happens when a blue butterfly is around. He calls it revival, and it happens when a bad thing is about to occur. So Satoru uses this to stop the bad thing from happening. After work, Satoru is going home and passes a strange man in a suit and a weird hat with red eyes. He finds this unusual, and then he finds his mother murdered. The landlord lady appears and accuses him of this murder, calling the police. He is distressed and doesn't know what to do, so he starts to run away from the cops and realizes that that man had to be the killer. Well, obviously, he is the killer, and he's sent back in time to when he was 10 years old. The show has a banger opening that is just really entertaining and a great song, so there is a positive, but there is a lot of negatives. But there is reasons why I really love this anime. I was always into things like Sherlock Holmes and Scooby-Doo, murder mystery things kind of, and discovery things, mystery stuff. I don't know why I'm telling you this, I just thought to give some background information. And on the other hand, I was always thinking that time travel was such a cool thing. Like, I liked shows like Doctor Who, and I loved movies like Back to the Future, and I always thought time travel was a cool power and element. Now, you're probably sitting here wondering, what is all this rubbish? Where is the real plot? Where are the waifus? Now, there are so many girls in anime. Many are unique and many are the same. Some are lollies or small girls, and some are just average high school girls that everyone likes. Some are overrated, some are hot but have a cold, and some are MILFs, mums. And these are the types of people that are waifus. Now for ERASED, you have option A and option B. This is Airi. She is option A. She's a 17-year-old girl which is shipped with a 29-year-old Satoru. She gives inspiration to Satoru, like tells him to follow his dreams and inspires him. And she also works at the pizza store that he does. And option B is the main girl in the story, Kayo Hinazuki. She is one of the girls from the past, and she also is abused by her mum, and one of the characters Satoru has to save. Or, there's option C, Satoru's mum. She knows how to do everything. She can cook, she can clean, yes, she's 50, but who cares? She's perfect. Now, once you've chosen your wife, you don't get any returns. You get what you get, you don't get upset. And now we'll talk about Kayo. As I've said from the plot, Kayo is one of the girls that ends up getting kidnapped and die, and so we know what's going to happen to her. So we want Satoru to save her, but we also want Satoru to save his mum, of course, too. But Kayo has a traumatic past. She has an abusive mum, and she just doesn't want to be there and wants to disappear from the world she's got right now. But when we see her smile and be happy, it makes us want her to be saved. Kayo's never really had any love given to her or some friendship, so Satoru inviting her to do so many things has really put a smile on her face and changed her life. Inviting to her birthday and them sharing their birthday together was a big moment for her. A scene that really made me change in my perspective of her was when we see how her breakfast was before she had breakfast with Satoru and his mum. She didn't really have much. She was given a loaf of bread or a biscuit or some money for breakfast, so she tears up seeing this, and she feels emotional because she's never been given a real breakfast from her parents before. We're waiting down the episodes, waiting till Satoru finally saves her, because this is what we've been waiting for the whole show, and also to save his mom once again, but we want him to save her now because we want her to have a better life. And finally that happens with episode 9. This is where I'd say Erased goes a bit downhill, because after this we don't really have anything to do with Kayo until later episodes. But basically the child carer people come and they've accused her mum of abuse. The mum gets angry, and then all of a sudden her mum appears, and we're meant to feel sorry for her, as then she remembers her past of how she was abused and how she had a terrible past. But then it doesn't really make sense, because then look at this scene. She is getting beaten up and she's sad, and then all of a sudden she sees that they have the same eyes and she's like, I'm gonna bash up my daughter who was just protecting me before. Like, it doesn't make any sense. And then we're meant to feel sorry for her as she cries, which is true. It's sad because abusers usually become abusers too, people that are abused. But then Kayo leaves, and that's the end of the show basically. Basically, we're just left with Kayo leaving, left off with a trash. What was that before? And yeah, that's the end of the episode. And the next time we see Kayo is when she's older. And Satoru cries, of course. But she's moved on and had a child and got married with someone else. Like, I thought she was getting with Satoru. Like, I can't believe her. She betrayed Satoru by getting with another girl and got with the guy that looked like a girl that also died in the past. But you're probably wondering how we got to the future and how this happened and why Satoru is in a wheelchair. So let me explain. This guy is the reason he's in a wheelchair and in the future. And you're probably like, what? Yes, he's the bad guy. And let me explain how this went down.
Only if you knew my true reasons. Your mother never told you who I really was.
She didn't get to tell me. 'Cause you killed her.
I am Sensei Yashiro.
No. It's not true. That's impossible!
Search your feelings, you know it to be true.
No!
So Sensei Yashiro is the mastermind behind all the murders. He is the evil man. And when he finds out all his hit list is taken down and saved, well, he doesn't like that. He gets quite angry. And he wants to find out who is the one that spoiled his plans and wants to figure out that. And when he sees Satoru as the one, he sets up a plan to defeat this man. Honestly, it was quite obvious from the beginning. There's so many hints throughout the show that he is the bad guy, with his red eyes, with his creepy feel, and his lollipops, and he's just quite a weird guy. And also, he looks resemblant to the evil guy from the beginning. Like, honestly, look at him. He looks exactly like the teacher that he has. He's the only guy that looks like him. It doesn't, like, it's obvious. Okay, so let me explain the reason behind the killer's reasons to kill people. So basically, he has these hamsters, he kills them, one survives, and basically he says that's Satoru. Then his other reason to kill is a spider string attached to people's heads. He says that when a spider string's attached to it, he wants to kill them so it detaches. Like, it doesn't really make any sense, and he has no motives. Now let me just sum up the ending in a short little few minutes. So basically, Satoru wakes up from his coma and he sees his friends all grown up and he's like, what? And then basically he tries to walk and he's like, oh! And then he gets his memories back from touching hands with the little boy and he remembers everything he's done. And then that's actually the child of the little boy that was a girl, that was a boy, which is with that girl. And then he meets the bad guy once again, Mr. Yashiro. Mr. Yashiro sees his string, they talk, and then Mr. Yashiro tells him his trash plans. He tells him how he knew his plans, and then Sensei Yashiro realizes his best girl and he's actually really with Satoru, and he's like, no Satoru, you're the only reason for me to live, I love you so much, no. And then he tries to kill himself, and then Yashiro is like, oh no, Satoru survived, he tricked me. This, it makes no sense. Yeah, basically that's the ending, and then he sees his thread on top of his head, he realizes he's lost, and that's the end. I'm sorry if you didn't understand any of that, but basically Satoru wins, and then he gets to become the mangaka he wanted to be. He gets the friends he wants, and he gets to see Airi again from the future, which is pretty cool. But honestly, the ending isn't the best to me, but honestly, how he ends up in the end is overall pretty good. I don't know if they got the story that they're trying to get across perfectly by the ending, but honestly, the ending is alright. But I feel like him going back in the past was meant to make him grow up again and become better. But in the end, he just went in a coma and came back in the end how the age he was before, and just did the stuff. So I don't know how they were trying to do it, but overall, Erased is a pretty good story, and I'm happy how it ended, but kind of disappointed, and I wish it had a cooler ending, but I see what they were trying to do, and I suggest it, and I hope you give it a good watch. For watching, I don't know if it was a good video, but if it was, I hope you enjoyed it.